Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I'm going to share with you guys an update concerning the Big E fire-point D. And there's been some confusion that's been going around concerning nuclear fusion in the Big E. And what really prompted me to make this video, seeing comments on Facebook, people confusing the Big E with nuclear fusion. And so I'm going to go ahead and go over the one prophecy that everybody needs to pay attention when it comes to the Big E and what it's actually going to be used for. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that. If you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section of YouTube. Now, currently I have this article everybody knows about, the nuclear fusion breakthrough, and it's actually a game changer, but you know, folks, it's still being worked on in the lab. There's no real world application to it, and it's going to take some years before we are going to see this actually put into fruition. And actually, Clement did prophesy multiple sources of energy, and one of them comes from Saturn, right? And so that means that's going to be further down the road in the future. Now, when it comes to Clement's videos and just a lot of the different prophecies I've gone over, and you guys have to go back some years, right? I've been doing Clement videos for a very long time, and I've been touching on a lot of the different energy prophecies as well as many others. And there are some that I discussed that YouTube would not let me keep up at all whatsoever. That goes to show how serious that some of these things are. But you can see here, one of the 5 new energy sources could be from Saturn. The X and the P, which people think it's XRP, but it's a new energy source, so it can't be XRP. If you guys want to learn more about some of the things that I have found, then just go back in history. I can't point it all out to everybody, every single prophecy that he's made. And I also, when it comes to the Big E, this link will be down below in the description for the Google documents. And I pointed out all the Big E prophecies that I could find. And I'm still working on this and putting the actual prophecy above the actual link. But these are all the links that the Big E or 5-point T is mentioned. So if you guys really want to get down and do the research like I've been doing over the years, then you can check out this link down below in the description. Now, one of the things about nuclear fusion, as far as investing into a company, it's going to be very difficult. There's some articles out there that saying how to invest in energy fusion companies, but you know what, folks, a lot of it is private. A lot of companies are involved, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the ones to actually bring it forth. Now, one of the things about this is, folks, this was a government-run agency as far as this nuclear fusion breakthrough, so there's no really way to invest in this. When it comes to private companies, I haven't did research in a long time, but I couldn't find any before. But right now, it's still in the beginning stages. Nuclear fusion in the lab, right? That's as far as it's gone. There's no real world applications to this yet. So when it comes to the Big E, so I am on the Clement House of Destiny prophecy page, and you can go here and type in keyword searches and everything. That's what I've done to look up just almost anything. Sometimes it takes some time, but you know, that's what research is all about. So I have here, this is from September 3rd, 2005, and I'm going to read this first paragraph. This deals with the Big E, right, and where it comes from and how it's going to be applied as far as real-world application. What took place in New Orleans caused America to go into even a greater crisis. It's not the oil, it's the refining of oil that's the problem. And therefore, we don't have the time, and that's what it is. God said, remember what I told you about the Big E. For those who don't know it, God said there's a Big E that's being brought forth. Not petroleum. This is going to be a new source. God said they are going to have to press in to get that energy or that source to this nation. In other words, they cannot rely on the source or the natural resources. They cannot rely upon oil. There is something else. The government of the USA is about to release that, and release it, it shall. All I know is I heard it in the secret place. This is going to force the United States of America where they are at the point to where they will not rely on the Middle East anymore. There will be a source that will have within this nation. Now listen to this. It shall come from the garbage. It shall come from the ground. It shall come from paper. It shall come from bugs eating a bunch of stuff. I'm seeing a bunch of bugs eating a bunch of stuff. God said this is going to be the craziest thing. They are going to say, wow, this is being wasted. The creatures are eating what could be used to cause our engines to work and our vehicles to move. I'm seeing a bunch of bugs eating this stuff, and there it is. That's it right there. When this happens, the United States shall rise above the wealth of the Middle East in terms of oil, and it shall take over, and they shall take your oil and shove it. This is the time for America to press in. All right, so what is the major thing that comes out of all this? Right? It's going to come from the ground. It's going to come from the garbage. It's going to come from paper. So obviously there's something there, right? It's going to go into our vehicles. He says it right here. It's going to cause our engines to work and our vehicles to move, right? So this is something I believe that's going to be like petroleum, right? And they're going to be able to put it in the gas tank. Now there's some other prophecies concerning what this is. And you can take a look at the document. Okay, let's go back to November 14, 2005. There is a source of energy that's coming out of this nation where they will not rely on the oil of the Middle East. God gave me a revelation about the big E. That's something that's going to come from the ground, from the bugs. There are literally billions of dollars to be made in the next few years by Christian people if they would be wise and they would be perceptive. God is going to provide a way for you to invest and make millions overnight. Take that as a key and a sign. It's yours. So that was in 2005. And folks, I did so much research. I can't even tell you as far as what companies could even be embarking on this. But there's other prophecies that detail, when this is going to be happening, and that revolves around a volcano erupting. And now listen to this. Right? I know a lot of people have talked about Elon Musk and the oak tree and all that stuff, and that possibly some of this stuff could come out of Elon Musk, which is very possible. If you followed Elon Musk from the very beginning and got into all the investments that he had with his company, like Tesla and other investments that he's mentioned, you'd be very wealthy right now. But listen to this, December 31st, 2006. The molecule as a E. The molecule, he calls it a molecule, a new source of energy that we have spoken of now to be unfolded, a discovery in a vehicle from Michigan. They shall say it was so simple. America, look to your summer first in February. Suddenly, as a wildfire shall take place, for the fires were a sign. The fires of California, the winds that came in return, they returned to Louisiana. They returned, but so poorly. The wind has blown, the fire has come. Now the Lord says in 2007, the wind shall once again come in spiritual form, but it shall blow away that which has endeavored to stay and make filthy the houses of the temple of God. A new source of energy and a new level of evangelism. Okay, so this is going to be a discovery in Michigan. Okay, so this is in 2006. So I was doing research to see if I could find anything in 2006 up until now in Michigan. I couldn't find anything. So use this as research and see if you guys come up with anything. I just haven't had time to go back through and start researching this. And this is actually one of the 8 wells of Clement. So I just wanted to clear some of that up and also to kind of spark this interest back into the big E. And, we can be on the search for new companies or whatever the case. This prophecy has been out for a long time. When I originally was doing research, and I spent a lot of and many hours trying to find any companies that's relating to this. So now you know what it is, folks. It's going to be something that it's going to come from garbage and the bugs and from the ground, and it's going to go into our car. And it could be something that it could be mixed in with our oil or some type of additive. So whenever this is going to be released, and whatever companies that are in charge of this, are going to become very, very wealthy, right? And so that's what we are looking for. That's the purpose for the wealth transfer, to use it for God's kingdom. And this is whenever this is released and we're actually able to invest in it, we're going to be able to do even more. If the company itself is not out yet, right? This is going to come probably at some point, I believe. I think after the dinar revaluation, I believe the dinar is going to be the first of Kim Clement's 8 wells that is going to take off before everything else. I don't know that for a fact, but he had mentioned the 8 wells somewhat like in order, and he mentioned the dinar as being the first when he was talking about the 8 wells. He didn't say that this was the order that they would come. That's just my suspicion, since he mentioned that first. But all this remains to be seen. So I know a lot of people are looking at this and they're trying to find out what it is, but it's going to take a lot of digging and research. This prophecy is almost 17 years old. So maybe at some point we can really dig into this again. So that's all that I have for today, folks. I wanted to clear this up and make sure that you guys know exactly what the big E is. And this link to this document will be down below in the description, and you can go over all these prophecies and look at all the other ones that I've collected too as well. So I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.